Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're diving deep into the world of British coin collecting, and specifically, we're going to explore three interesting coins: the 2011, 2014, and 2015 Elizabeth II 2 pence coins. At first glance, these 2p coins may seem ordinary, but they each have some really fascinating details, especially when we look at their minting years, their designs, and their collectability. Whether you're a beginner in coin collecting or just curious about the coins in your change, this video will give you valuable insights into what makes these coins worth a second look. Now, at first glance, the 2011 2 pence coin seems like any other. It's small, copper-plated steel, round, and has a smooth edge. But when you take a closer look, and I mean a really close look, you'll notice there's more to it. Whether it's the design, the year of issue, its condition, or potential minting errors, this coin actually has several factors that make it interesting from a collector's perspective. Let's start with what this coin looks like. On the front, or the obverse side, you have a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait was introduced in 1998 and used until 2015. So the 2011 2p coin features this specific image of the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This design is clean, sharp, and detailed, but the real intrigue is often on the reverse side. On the back, the reverse, we have part of the Royal Shield of Arms, a design that was first introduced in 2008. What's interesting is that this design spans multiple coins. When you lay out the 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, and 50p coins, they form the complete royal shield. The 2p coin specifically shows the upper right part of that shield. It's a creative and modern design approach that really changed the way collectors and the public viewed everyday change. So why focus on the 2011 version specifically? Well, part of the appeal is the mintage, the number of coins that were actually produced that year. While the Royal Mint hasn't labeled this coin as rare, the 2011 2p was not minted in huge quantities compared to more common years. That means, while it's not impossible to find, it's not as widely circulated as other dates. This makes it a bit more desirable, especially if you come across one in mint condition. But condition matters a lot. A coin from 2011 that's been in circulation will likely show signs of wear. Scratches, dullness, or worn edges all affect value. On the other hand, a 2011 2p coin that's uncirculated or in brilliant condition can be significantly more attractive to collectors. And if it's still sealed in its original Royal Mint packaging, it might fetch a premium. Now let's talk about something every collector gets excited about: error coins. These are coins that were minted with mistakes, and they're one of the reasons people check their change so closely. Error coins can include things like off-center strikes, die rotations, double images, and even planchet errors, which happen when the wrong blank is used to strike the coin. With the 2011 2 pence coin, there have been occasional reports of minor errors, and though they're rare, they can increase the coin's value significantly. The most common way to check for errors is by closely examining both sides of the coin. Does everything line up correctly? Is there anything odd about the text or rim? Do you see any doubling of the letters or features? If something looks strange or off, it might be worth showing it to an expert or comparing it to a standard 2p from the same era. You might be asking, how much is a 2011 2 pence coin worth? And the answer depends on a few things: condition, rarity, and presence of errors. A circulated 2011 2p coin is usually worth face value, 2 pence. But if it's uncirculated or features a minting error, it can be worth more. On websites like eBay, brilliant uncirculated examples have sold for £1 to £3, and those with errors can fetch £10 or more, depending on what's unusual about them. But even if your coin isn't rare or valuable right now, there's still long-term value in collecting. Many coins gain value over time, especially as they become harder to find in good condition. What's just a common coin today could become a desirable one in 10 or 20 years. That's one of the reasons coin collecting, or numismatics, is such a rewarding hobby. You're not just collecting metal, you're collecting little pieces of history. Another thing that makes the 2011 2 pence coin special is that it represents a moment in British coinage history, part of the Royal Shield design era, and featuring the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Since the Queen's passing, interest in her coins has gone up. People are starting to look at older coins, especially those with historical context, as collectible pieces rather than just spare change. If you're starting out in coin collecting, the 2p coin is a great place to begin. It's affordable, accessible, and still offers plenty of variation to keep things interesting. Keep a magnifying glass handy and take a little time to check the coins in your pocket or your coin jar. You never know when you'll spot something unusual. Also, make sure to store your coins properly. If you find a nice example of the 2011 2p coin, don't clean it. That's important. Cleaning coins can reduce their value. Instead, place them in a coin holder or flip and store them in a dry, cool place away from direct sunlight. Over time, well-preserved coins will always attract more attention from collectors and dealers. Let's start by getting a feel for what the 2014 2p coin actually is. It's a small copper-plated steel coin, round and smooth-edged, just like most 2 pence coins from recent decades. It weighs about 7.12 grams and measures 25.9 millimeters across. It's part of the UK's decimal coinage system, introduced in 1971. But the design on the 2014 coin is part of a more recent series that started in 2008. And that's where things get interesting. On the obverse, or the front of the coin, you'll see a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This isn't just any portrait. It's the fourth definitive portrait created by Ian Rank Broadley. It was used on UK coins from 1998 to 2015. In this image, the Queen is facing to the right and wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. It's one of the most iconic images of her and is instantly recognizable to collectors across the world. On the reverse side of the coin, we have part of the Royal Shield of Arms. This was introduced in 2008 as part of a new design scheme across multiple denominations. Each coin in the 1p to 50p range features a piece of the shield, and the 2p coin specifically shows the upper right section of that shield. When you place the coins together, the 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, and 50p, they form the complete shield. It's a creative and elegant design that adds a bit of collectible value to otherwise common coins. Now let's talk about why the 2014 version of this coin matters. While millions of 2 pence coins are made each year, the 2014 2p coin is slightly more interesting to collectors for a couple of reasons. First, it marks one of the final years where Ian Rank Broadley's portrait was used before the new design by Jody Clark came in 2015. So in a way, it represents the end of an era. That alone makes it a bit more notable. Then there's the question of mintage numbers. According to available figures, the 2014 2 pence coin had a relatively standard mintage for circulation, but fewer were produced compared to some earlier years. While it's not considered rare in the strictest sense, lower mintage figures always catch the eye of collectors who are thinking long-term. The fewer coins in circulation, the better the chance of them becoming harder to find over time, especially in top condition. Which brings us to coin condition, something that's absolutely key to coin value. A 2014 2p coin that has been in heavy circulation, scratched, dull, or worn, is usually worth just its face value, 2 pence. But if you have one that's in brilliant uncirculated condition, for example, from a mint set, it can be worth more to collectors. These versions have never been used in everyday transactions, so they retain their original finish and detail, which makes them more desirable. If you happen to come across a 2014 2 pence coin with an error, then you might have something even more valuable. Coin errors can happen during the minting process and include things like off-center strikes, die rotations, double strikes, or even planchet issues where the wrong metal blank was used. These kinds of mistakes are rare, but when they do happen, collectors jump at the chance to add them to their collections. An error coin can sell for several pounds, or even more depending on how dramatic or unusual the error is. So how do you check if your 2014 2p coin is special? First, take a close look with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look at the edges, the lettering, the Queen's portrait, and the shield design. Is everything sharp and clear? Is anything out of alignment? If something looks off, it might be worth doing more research or asking in a coin collecting group. There are online communities on Reddit, Facebook, and even coin appraisal forums where experienced collectors are happy to give you advice or help verify a find. Now let's talk about value. For most people, a standard 2014 2 pence coin is worth its face value, 2 pence. But a brilliant uncirculated version, especially from an official Royal Mint set, could be worth £1 to £2, sometimes more depending on condition. An error coin could fetch £5, £10, or more, depending on the type and how rare the error is. If the error is something serious like a wrong metal blank or double strike, the value goes even higher. These are the coins that show up on eBay and other auction sites and grab attention from serious collectors. Another factor that increases interest in coins like this is the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Since her reign spanned so many decades, coins bearing her portrait have become a major focus for collectors, especially the later year issues. The 2014 2p falls into that category, a coin that represents the late stages of her long and historic reign. People are looking back at these coins now not just as currency, but as small historical artifacts. If you're new to collecting and wondering where to start, coins like the 2014 2 pence are a great entry point. They're affordable, easy to find, and they help you learn about coin grading, design history, and minting details. And who knows, you might come across a rare variant just by going through your change. One tip I always share is this: never clean your coins. It's tempting, especially if it looks dirty or tarnished, but collectors actually prefer coins in their original, untouched condition. Cleaning can damage the surface and reduce value. Instead, store your coins in proper holders or coin flips and keep them in a cool, dry place. If you have something especially rare or valuable, you might even consider having it graded professionally. As time goes on, coins like the 2014 2p will become less common in circulation. Some will be lost, others damaged, and many will end up in collections and never be spent again. That means that finding one in good condition becomes harder and harder, and potentially more valuable. Even if it's not a rare coin now, it could be down the line. Let's begin with the basics. The 2015 2p coin is part of the British decimal coinage system and continues the modern tradition of the Royal Shield reverse design that started in 2008. On this coin, you get the upper right section of the shield. If you arrange all the coins from 1 pence up to 50 pence, that's the 1p, 2p, 5p, 10p, 20p, and 50p, the full image of the Royal Shield of Arms is revealed. It's a smart, sleek, and symbolic design that brings all those denominations together in a really clever way. Now let's talk about the obverse side, which is where things get interesting with the 2015 version. This year marks a big transition in British coinage. Up until this point, the obverse portrait, that's the image of Queen Elizabeth II, had been the fourth definitive portrait, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which was used from 1998 through early 2015. But in March 2015, the Royal Mint introduced a new portrait, the fifth and final portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Jody Clark. This means that in 2015, some 2 pence coins were minted with the fourth portrait, while others feature the fifth portrait. That dual portrait year is one of the key reasons the 2015 2 pence coin is especially interesting to collectors. Depending on which version you have, you could be holding on to a piece of transition history in British coinage. The Jody Clark portrait shows a slightly older Queen Elizabeth wearing the royal diamond diadem, and the portrait is a bit more detailed and lifelike than previous designs. It was also the first definitive portrait created by a Royal Mint employee in over 100 years, which adds a historic note to it. So now the obvious question is, how many of these coins were made? Mintage numbers are always an important factor in coin collecting, because lower numbers usually mean more value. According to the Royal Mint, the 2015 2p coin was only issued in brilliant uncirculated and collector sets, and not released into general circulation. That's a huge deal. What this means is that if you have a 2015 2 pence coin and it didn't come from a mint set or a collector pack, it's either from a very limited batch or possibly even a packaging error. Either way, that adds serious interest. This limited release makes the 2015 2p a semi-rare coin right out of the gate. While it's not rare in the extreme sense, like the Kew Gardens 50p, it's still significantly harder to find than most modern 2p coins. And as time passes, these coins will only become more scarce, especially in top condition. So if you have one, or are thinking about getting one, it's definitely worth holding on to. Now let's talk about condition, which plays a major role in value. Most 2015 2 pence coins are found in brilliant uncirculated condition, because they were included in mint sets. These coins haven't been touched or circulated, so they maintain that original shine and sharp detail. If you happen to have one still sealed in its Royal Mint packaging, that's ideal. These versions tend to maintain, and even increase in value over time, particularly among collectors building full sets of UK coins. So what's the value of a 2015 2p coin? Well, a regular circulated 2 pence coin is worth, obviously, 2 pence. But because the 2015 issue was only released in collector's form, uncirculated examples often sell online for £1 to £3, sometimes more depending on packaging and demand. If you happen to find one with a minting error, and yes, these do occur, the price can jump even higher. Let's talk about those errors for a moment. Error coins are like little lottery tickets. They occur when something goes wrong in the minting process. Maybe the die is misaligned, maybe the strike is off-center, or maybe the wrong blank was used. If you ever find a 2015 2 pence coin that has doubling, missing detail, odd coloring, or alignment issues, it could be worth having it appraised. Error coins can sell for £10, £20, or more, depending on rarity and condition. Always look closely at the Queen's portrait, the lettering around the edges, and the royal shield on the back. Those are common areas where errors can appear. So how do you make sure you're storing your coins the right way? If you want your 2015 2p coin to retain or grow in value, proper care is key. First rule, don't clean it. Cleaning can scratch the surface and drastically reduce its value. Instead, handle the coin by the edges and store it in a protective coin flip or holder. Keep it away from moisture, heat, and direct sunlight. Coin albums and storage boxes with acid-free materials are your best friend here. And here's something else to think about. Since Queen Elizabeth II has passed, coins featuring her image are already seeing increased interest from collectors. Over time, coins from the last decade of her reign, especially those with limited mintages like the 2015 2 pence, are expected to rise in value. They represent the closing chapter of a historic and record-breaking reign, and many collectors want to complete their Elizabeth II collections now, while the coins are still relatively easy to find. For beginners just getting into coin collecting, the 2015 2p coin is a great place to start. It's modern, it's connected to an important design transition, and it's affordable. You can find them through coin dealers, online marketplaces, or by purchasing Royal Mint sets from 2015. It gives you a sense of what to look for: design elements, minting details, packaging, and it opens the door to the wider world of British numismatics. Before we wrap up, here's a little tip. Keep a list of the coins you have and what condition they're in. Even with modern coins like the 2015 2p, tracking your collection helps you stay organized and spot gaps or opportunities for upgrading. You might start with 1 or 2 pieces, but as your collection grows, you'll appreciate having that record. So there you have it, the full story of the 2015 Elizabeth II 2 pence coin. It might seem like just another copper coin, but once you dig a little deeper, you realize how much history, design, and value are packed into this small piece of metal. Whether you're collecting for fun, for value, or just out of curiosity, the 2015 2p coin is one you'll definitely want to keep an eye on. One more thing worth mentioning is that, following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, interest in her coinage has surged. Many collectors are now looking to complete their Elizabeth II coin sets, especially the later year coins. This increased demand could drive up the value of coins like the 2015 2 pence, especially those in pristine condition or with unique features. These coins, the 2011, 2014, and 2015 Elizabeth II 2 pence coins, each offer something unique to collectors. The 2011 coin represents a solid example of the Royal Shield era. The 2014 version has lower mintage and increasing demand. And the 2015 2 pence coin marks a portrait transition and a limited release, making it a standout choice for any UK coin collection. So whether you're just starting out or you're an experienced numismatist, these 3 2p coins are great examples of how even modern decimal coins can hold history, artistry, and potential value. They're small in size, but they carry big stories. Thanks for listening. If you've come across any of these coins, especially in high grade or with errors, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content about British coins, and share this with friends who might be curious about what's in their change. Until next time, keep checking your coins, because the next valuable find might just be sitting in your pocket.